Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone. And today I'm so excited to talk to ANN HELTZEL. Hi.
Hey, Kathy.
I'm so excited. So you guys, if you don't know ANN, you are going to want to know ANN. She's an explorer of human potential. She's a life-to-death transitionalist. I don't know those words. Okay. Multidimensional artist and marketing innovator. And today we're going to get to talk a lot about the frequency art that she has right behind her, and we'll get to show you some more of it because this is really powerful and could help with healing your body, mind, and spirit, right?
That's right.
Right. So, ANN, let's start with for people that don't know you, how did you I think you went to art school, right? In college?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay. So art was automatically a vehicle for you to express yourself, but this emergence of this meta art that you're doing, which I've gotten to have experience with multiple times, could you explain how that emerged, and then we'll go and talk about some other things that you and I have in common. Okay.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So it's, of course, an interesting tale, right? We each have interesting life stories, but I did go to art school and ended up immediately going into art direction, graphic design. So working in marketing and advertising. But I've always been on a spiritual quest in life. I'm a seeker, and really love to describe that as an explorer of human potential. So those are the two kind of main sectors, I would say, of my identity, beyond being a mother and socially in life. And so I in 2010 I opened my own ad agency, and I really felt like, hey, I'm this person that travels the world and works under Brazilian gurus, and I'm a spiritual seeker, and I'm a death doula. That life to death transitionalist is a death doula, and then there's this ANN that owns a marketing firm that gets things to the printer on time. And so this realization occurred to me that when I'm helping somebody cross over, I'm really able to tap into a higher multi-dimensional space of them on a soul level, and that I can do that with anybody. And so I started doing that with my clients. And that process is called Meta Insights, where I'm going into that space, and it's really a conversation and really getting direction from there. What is the highest potential in a human being or their company? And so was using that in my marketing firm. And it was, much like you, Kathy, it becomes this kind of, very special tool, right? And the way we function in marketing. And then in 2017, I got on the road, got rid of everything I owned, and started going on the road throughout the US to my marketing clients. And the first client said, that space you go within me on my behalf, I'd like you to take me there. And so my work very quickly turned into these kind of meditative retreats during using a certain process that I use in order to help a person step into their highest potential and experience and feel themselves in that much higher space. And immediately the art came through as a way to represent that highest and greatest potential of a person or a company in physical form. So it became these channeled paintings that I was doing during these retreats that then the clients would take home or to their office and gaze at in order to re-enter back into that higher state of knowing. And so it wasn't until 2020 with the lovely shutdown we had, that I was able to start doing paintings, and then I was able to spend time with them. And that's when I really realized the full power of these MetaArt paintings. So that kind of gets you up to speed.
That's great. Okay. So I got to experience them in person where it Co-Creators Convergence in Sunrise Ranch, where a group of 35, maybe 40 of it, I don't know, 35 of us created one. And then we each got to take home a little section of it. But you don't do that anymore. You don't destroy it anymore, right?
Actually, I do. I do that.
Oh,
Yeah, I do that in retreat forms all the time. It's really more of a that's really more of a either a group of individuals that are somehow connected or a company. So I do that in the corporate world.
okay. And the fun of it was the frequency when we're together, when people intend to be in harmony and intend to bring out their highest, best nature and do these art pieces together, the energy that's contained with it is creates this momentum. It's more than teamwork. It's actually a meshing of consciousness and values and everything that's could possibly be the momentum could skyrocket businesses, right?
Absolutely, because what it's doing is it's taking the way I always describe it is, we believe that we each have a soul. We understand that concept, right? That if there's a group of people together, whether they're however they're related to each other, let's say it's in business, let's say they're all the people that came together to begin a business, then where their souls meet, I call that the creation point, because their souls have come together with some great intent to do something for humanity. And when it's in the form of a business, then we can step in that space and collectively be in there together and see the highest potential for not only the individuals, but the company. And what happens every single time is it's so much grander than what they can even imagine, right? The energy and from that highest perspective, because we're working outside of our own kind of constraints of what we believe ourselves to be or be able to do. So to be in that space together is incredibly freeing. And, it's like that phrase that to think outside the box. It's like, it's the space where there was never a box. And, and so just to be able to play in that space and then to have this physical, typically, painting something like this, to focus on and have that energy around, because it can be like, oh my gosh, that was a mind-blowing experience, and like something I just did, to something that I can own and I can do that myself. It's a capacity, and this is a tool. The paintings are tools.
Well, they're portals. It really, truly, and that is a door. So
It is.
they're amazing portals. Okay, so then let's go fast forward till last year at the IONS conference. You had a booth, and I got to be the volunteer coordinator for the exhibitors. And do you want to share a little bit about that? Because that was remarkable to me.
Yeah, what was so fascinating with that, Kathy, is I spoke with you like 5 days before. I was going to the conference, just as a participant, and you magically got me a table there. So I ended up coming with some product and allowing people to have access to sit and meditate with these pieces of art, and many of them have sound. And so the basically the most basic concept to explain them is. Obviously they're abstract paintings, and I am completely guided in painting them. So if people are familiar with automatic writing, these are automatic paintings. And so I'm not standing there. It doesn't really matter at all that I went to art school. It's the energy's flowing through me, and I'm simply taking direction. And there are many pieces that also have sound to them. So it's not just the visual sense, but also the sense of sound. And each piece that's created is the same, that it's just flowing through me and it's coming directly from source, the same as happening for the musician. And so that's the whole gist of it. You sit in front of the art, you pick one spot on the painting, and you just relax your gaze. And if there's sound, I have a headset for people just to kind of drown out the motion that's happening. And that was quite remarkable, to be with the amazing people that end up coming to the IANS conference. The vast majority of them either having an NDE or having, some sort of major spiritual events in their life. And so these doors are alchemical tools in order to access whatever the specific frequency is. And my website has, a lot of the ones that I do commission paintings, but the ones that are available, frequencies such as love, joy, the capacity to heal, grace. So they're all frequencies that exist, emotional elements that have a divine connection. And the painting allows us to visually and sometimes auditorily interact with that frequency. Basically, the frequency is going in through the retina to the hypothalamus directly to the pineal gland. So the painting engages with the pineal gland. And it's interesting because we know that music heals. We know that sound is a healing component to humans. And so this is kind of so does visual art. And I just actually heard this not too long ago. The French artist Marcel, I think he pronounced his name Duchamp, said there will be a day that art will be the cure for a toothache. And so that just so encompasses what these pieces of art is. So when we were there at the conference, one notable story that happened, and Kathy, I was so glad you were there to kind of hold me up after it happened. Oh my gosh, a woman came over to my booth and she had an NDE. She was in a wheelchair. I believe she was paralyzed from the waist down, and she wanted to sit with Heal. And I, always explain to people, because what's going to happen is you're going to look at the painting and it's going to move, right? It's going to go three-dimensional. It might go completely white. It's there could be saints, or, our beloved dead could come through. Anything really can happen. So I explained that to her, and she was I don't think she really heard me. I think she was super anxious to sit with the painting. And after just a few minutes, the meditations are 11 minutes, she went into a full seizure. And luckily I was there to catch her, and you were there to help me get her to the ground and get her safe. And I was absolutely mortified that this happened. And you explained to me, and many people afterwards explained to me, that was a healing, that the energy was that strong, that her body was not able to react or process it quick enough. And sure enough, a day and a half later, I saw her at the conference, and she looked 15 years younger. She grabbed my hands and was crying, thanking me. She said it was just the most amazing experience and healing that she had ever experienced. And so that was very dramatic. That's the most dramatic thing that's ever happened. But she was prone to seizures, and she had just had one a few days earlier. So that's kind of a rare, type of event, but that's what happened last year.
Right. Well, I want to make sure people understand what happens with, and I don't know how you pair the music, but you have headphones on, and Leanne says, just let your eyes find a place on the canvas to engage with. And your senses automatically go to a space. It's almost like it's its own galaxy, or its own astral place, and you're drawn in. And if you allow yourself to surrender to it, you're gifted whatever the present is inside, like Cracker Jacks. But this was a little scary, but it proved beyond a shadow of doubt that there was something happening. The engagement between the viewer and the art piece was powerful, and people that are highly sensitive get it. I'm highly sensitive. I already, all I have to do is put my hand near it, and I get it. But other people, to have that in a room that is high fear, or a peace image in a room where there's a lot of stress or high fear, could totally change the atmosphere, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Over the last few years, the paintings are being purchased for sensory rooms for children, because children, there's no barrier. They don't need any instruction. And there's been a lot of proof, how the child is before they sit down in front of the artwork, and then how they are after. I just completed a piece for children on the autism spectrum.
Oh, we'll show that in a second on your store.
Yes.
Remarkable.
So that one was done in collaboration with Susie Miller, which I believe is profoundly gifted in working with children on the spectrum. So, and it's important to understand too that I don't, wake up one day and go, I think I'm going to paint love. Like, right. These come to me, and there's, quite a process in order for me to even start painting them. So it's really become a calling.
Oh, it's beautiful. So the other thing I want people to understand is that the original art is also created into G clays. And in a minute or two, we'll show the store. So you don't have to get the original. You can get a G clay of it, which is a print on canvas. And you can actually get it in different sizes for your space, so that you could use this at any time. And the G clay is not as fragile, most likely, as the original art, right?
Yeah, it's more, universally, these are, obviously you can see they're big, and like you said, you can get them in different sizes to fit your, your area. A lot of therapists use them with their clients, and, because it's the shape of a door, because it is a door, the reproductions are that same dimension. So even if there's, say, not a lot of space, wall space, you can hang it on behind a door, and just hold the door, and there it is. So
that's cool. Well,
yeah.
Does it matter if it's this way, or portrait or landscape? Does it matter?
Typically it does not in both, but I would say it's important for this one.
Okay.
And the one that's for the children on the spectrum is actually 3 round canvases. Those 2 are the only ones that it's important that they stay vertical rather than horizontal.
Okay. So since it's right behind you, could you explain? I'm going to make you full screen again. Could you explain a little bit more, and then explain, well, let's do this first. Explain how this one was created and what led up to that adventure.
Right. Okay. So this painting is, I'm trying to find, I should have brought it up, and I probably don't have it up, but this painting was done specifically for the IANS conference that just ended a few weeks ago. So what I did, prior to going to the conference was my typical process. So the first piece is, I was invited to bring this in. And so I do what I call my meta insights process, which it's a transmission. It's the information behind it. And it's quite lengthy. I will say that I've got a few bullet points here on what the painting is here to do. It's here to support people that have had a near-death experience, as well as anybody that's had a big spiritual, like a transformational experience in their life, and anybody that's interested in communicating with the other side of the veil. And so I'm reading this right from the insights. It possesses the transformative power to bring a person into a state of balance, leading to a space of neutrality and centered action. It serves as a healing mechanism to soothe the inner chaos, allowing the dust to settle within the self. It recognizes sacred gifts free from judgment and fear, and awakens the spark of the human spirit that finds joy in the other side rather than misunderstanding. Meditating with the painting offers access to the threshold into this sacred realm in a gentle and supportive way. So that's it, in a nutshell, again, to support people that have had an NDE. And that's exactly what happened. So I ended up, being there with the painting. It's a 5-day conference. So the first day and a half, I invited anybody that wanted to contribute to the painting to do so. And the majority of those people have had near-death experiences. So, very clearly that energy was going into the experience itself and into the painting. And even just being in that space, right, with hundreds of people sharing this same commonality. And so the painting completed the last day, and I think you could queue up the testimonial.
Okay.
This was the first person that had an opportunity to meditate with it.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Hopefully the audio will work.
So what happened when you meditated with crossing the veil? So almost instantly, like the painting was like coming alive, and there was this dot with a blue dot in the middle. It was like coming towards me and then going back in. And I asked to talk to my brother, and he came. And at first, I just sensed him, and I said, "I want to see you." And he said, "I'll show you me as you remember me." So he was, he came to me as I remembered him. And I said, "Do I want to see you as you are now?" And he said, "I am light." And he became this beautiful light. It was white and green. And your mind says, "Is this really happening? Am I just wanting this so bad that I'm making it up?" But he touched me. Like he touched my neck. I could feel him.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty crazy, right? It's pretty crazy to think that something like that could happen just by gazing at a piece of art. And I do want to note too that usually, if it's kind of ordained, there'll be music that goes with it. This piece in particular has the sense of smell. And so when you order this piece to meditate with it, it comes with frankincense directly from Egypt. And so there's that sense as well. Another story that happened is I took this piece when I returned from the conference. I took this piece to Lilydale in New York State, and a woman sat down to meditate with it, and I didn't realize that she had an NDE 20 years ago.
Wow.
During a stroke, and she completely relived the beauty of that near-death experience.
Wow.
She said, like, she was describing the painting, and I can get you the link to that testimonial. I just didn't upload it yet. There was the hand of God. There was Mother Mary. She could see Christ's face. She could see and hear angels. She could see all of her loved ones on the other side. And she said, like, they let her know, like, we're taking you to this threshold just for you to experience it again, to feel that deep sense of love again, and that everything is okay. And so she was, of course, incredibly thankful to have that experience again. And so
Wow.
that, that's all the proof that I need, is how it is here to support people. I know when people have had an NDE, a lot of times it's really challenging and difficult to kind of get back into life, right? And get back into what this reality offers us. And absolutely, this piece is here to support that and happening for her. That was the gift, right? To just relive the feelings again. If she had a reproduction, or the original, every engagement with it is going to be a different experience. And so, I hear that consistently with all the paintings. And another story that a man, experienced meditator, sat with it, and he had a life review.
Wow.
Yeah, he said, at first I didn't know what was happening, and then like very quickly I realized, oh, I'm having what I would expect to have after I died. And he could see these potent moments in his life where he made choices and how it affected everyone around him. And he was just like, what happens usually after these is you can't really talk, right? Because you're like, what? That was just so huge. So he was having a hard time putting that into words, but he said that's what it was. It was a life review.
Well, I'm not surprised that it carries that kind of energy, because the reason Ions, that whole event, is so beautiful is that a lot of the experiencers, almost all of them, are intentionally trying to live with that knowledge of who they are on a bigger scale, and experience the love and bring it into this reality. And so I'm not surprised that that picture with all the fragments of frequency from these people would hold that, because there are researchers there, but a lot of, you walk into that event and there's a bubble of experience that is quite like going to a vortex in Sedona. It's a bubble of love, and it's because these people go, oh good, someone else can play in the playground with me, right?
Right, and understand what I'm talking about. And it's not, there's challenges that come with it, right? That these individuals are experiencing, and right, just for them to be able to communicate that with each other. And so that is absolutely what this painting is here to do, to support. And so my goal with this painting is the reproduction, the original, that it goes into the hands of the people that it is here to support. Ultimately.
Perfect. Well, the thing is that if all of us could even remember from dream time our connection to that other side, we would be walking this earth in a different way. So I'm sure even if you haven't had a spiritually transformative experience, if you sat with this piece, you would definitely have an experience with it. It might take a little time, that's all, because it might be a foreign concept. But the integration of all that is and who we really are on a bigger scale is available now. As you said about being in the box or being out of the box. This is this is an opportunity to get out of the box.
Absolutely. People have experienced with these paintings anything from, a deep sense of peace and joy. And I had an experience not so long ago. So, various locations have some of my paintings, and a particular place close by is a salt cave, and a woman had taken in peace, and she was very much desiring some peace in her life. She had some things happening within her family, and she came out in tears. And I just asked her, what her experience was. And she just said, like a clock, it started like at 12 o'clock and then it went 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, a saint came through the painting that she could see. And she's a very devout Catholic. And she said they just kept coming in. And she said they were talking to me, but not like through my ears, right? They were talking to her through her heart. And she, by the conclusion of her time with the painting, she just said, I can't explain it. I'm completely at peace. I don't know how it's going to play out with, the situation in my life, but it is like, she was full of peace. And so I was just making sure, because she, didn't come out with the painting. And I just said, so you meditated with this one, right? And I pointed to peace on the wall, and she was so confused, and she got up really close to the painting, and she came back and she said, no, I meditated with the one with the saints. And I had to explain to her, you saw saints, the saints were there for you, right? Like if you came back again, you would see something else. Or I had a man sit down, and
love that.
He's one of those civil war reenactors.
Oh,
and a general came through, and he was like, Leanne, do you see him? Do you see him? And he's like, I'm going to take a picture on my phone. And he's like, Leanne, his mouth's moving. I said, well, be quiet. Be quiet and listen. So, it's whatever, even like when they say like a near-death experience, like whatever it is that is going to serve you, your highest is what you're going to experience, right? So they're very much in the same, realm.
It's fantastic. So as far as the music, how do you pick the music? Because that was the immersion. I thought it was remarkable that in this kind of busy hall, that room was fairly narrow and long, how people could put a headset on and really immerse themselves. That's basically what you're saying, is they go into this state and have an experience that is so personal and so uplifting for their development, their spiritual development. How do you pick the music, or how does the music come in?
Yeah, it comes in just like the frequency itself. I did a painting during the total eclipse, and I was, I knew 8 months before I needed to be on the line of totality, that I was bringing in a painting. Okay. So I get an Airbnb, and it wasn't until about 2 weeks before, because I got the Airbnb months before, 2 weeks before, I go through the meta insight process, and I understand that it's grace. It's the frequency of grace. And, I can kind of ask these questions like, does it have music? Yep. And is it a door? Yep. Like I get all these instructions. And within 24 hours, a dear friend introduced me to the musician. So
wow.
90% of the time, I don't know who the music is going to be. The first one that happened was Love. And the instruction was, now add sound. And I thought, I don't know a musician. And the next day, I listened to a webinar, and there was a musician, and I reached out to him, and he said, I've always had this desire to actually have the physical paints of the artist. And so I sent him the paints, and he put them on a cymatics table, and he hit them with the Hertz frequency for Love, the 528, for 6 weeks before he created the music.
Wow.
Yeah. So each music is its own unique way in which I even meet the musician. And it's all bounced back to grace that came in during the total eclipse. One of the main things that I understood was it required sacred water from all over the world. And I realized, oh my gosh, I have sacred water from all over the world. A woman that a marketing client of mine years ago gifted me this vial of water that this shaman had taken decades of doing ceremony and traveling the world and gathering drops of water from every major waterway in the world. And she'd given it to this young woman, and this woman gave it to me. And I'm like, I don't work with why are you giving me this? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I have the water. And so I, brought it with me. I mean, it got used all through the painting. I didn't say any of that to the musician. I just sent her the first couple layers of the painting. As you can imagine, these are several layers. And she sent me back the first few minutes of the recording, and she said, you just need to know, Leanne, that this music's going to sound very watery. Okay.
Wow.
So each one is just always this kind of beautiful, luscious story of how it all weaves together.
Wow, that's so cool. So let's show your store next. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
You can share about each one of them. Here we go.
Yes.
Okay, so I can scroll, but I'll let you, if you want, share about each one.
Yeah, well, I won't go into each one, but when you visit this page, you can see that these are all the available frequencies that I do commissioned pieces. So obviously there aren't any commissioned pieces here, but this is love, fully realized, heal, and so you can choose different sizes on all of these, depending on your space, where it's going. Some of the originals are available, some are not. And for instance, Unity. So Unity is the one on the far right now.
Yeah.
That is also, I did 2 canvases and I did 2 doors. So basically French doors. So the original on that is, I mean, you can imagine sitting in front of 2 doors. Like there's so much space in order to kind of go into the painting. But yeah, so you can see also in the next row, there's the third one in was done for Lilydale. It's a frequency of Lilydale. And that's a really, really interesting piece. And then next to it, I was asked a lot for oracle cards. And so my oracle cards are actually 8.5 by 11, and they come in a storage frame so that they're all in there, but you get the piece of artwork itself to meditate with, and then you get the transmission that I received. And then if there's music, you get the music. And then, yeah, that last row is this piece. And the 3 round canvases is specifically for people on the spectrum.
Wow, this is amazing. So the future human intrigues me a lot. I think the last time we spoke, that really intrigued me again, because that seems to be what's happening. We're bringing it in, whether or not we know what it is. And Barbara Marx Hubbard, who we both have a affinity for, called it Homo Universalis, and then there's other people calling it Homo Luminous, and this being that can hold more light. That's our evolution. And so you brought in something that's a portal to that. That is so cool.
Yeah, yeah. And the beautiful thing is we're evolving as human beings. What does that mean? One of the things that it means is that we have new capacities that we didn't necessarily have before. And I'm just exploring mine, right? Like, this is the fact that we can enter other kind of states of consciousness, states of awareness through art is just kind of my thing with it, right? But we each are opening up to all sorts of capacities. And I'm just smiling because outside my door, this never happens. I have a little screening porch. There's a deer right there.
Oh, Oh,
out the other window now. I'm like, what's over there? Oh, it's a deer. So a lot of deer energy here right now.
oh, that's great. Well, because you're a deer. So how do you see? So first of all, there's 2 more sections on your store, so you can have 2 more coming for sure pretty soon. So the row is complete. But how do you see the surrender that you went through to have this beautiful gift come through for you? Is it the lesson that you could share that might help hundreds of people right now is surrendering to their gifts? Could you share any ideas or tools or anything that might help people? Because right now, if you're sensitive, the chaos in the global consciousness is disruptive. It's hard to even make decisions. It's hard to be in the field. So could you make any suggestions about how you learned how to surrender to this fantastic gift that you have and use it?
Yeah, the main thing that's coming to mind, Kathy, is just to, it's really easy to think, oh, I can look outside of myself, right? I can take this course, or I can, do this or that, and then I'll have what I need. And and oftentimes that's absolutely a gift. But to always look to what's inside of me, because we do have all of those answers inside of ourselves. And I didn't plan to start painting these paintings. It was all through guidance, and that's the inner guidance that we can only find when we spend that sacred time within ourselves. And so, um, you know, certainly following whatever feels right. And it's kind of like you can go and get information, you can take courses, you can, do whatever and get these pieces of information, but always bring it inside and inward and allow it then to present itself to you. And that's what I actually, again, I didn't decide one day I'm going to paint these paintings. It was very much an instruction, and that they were needed in the world. And that's what I really love about them, because these paintings are engaging. I see it like this triad. It's you in this experience. It's the frequency itself, whether it's joy or love or peace, and your highest self. And so it's this flow of information that's really coming from your, what I call your fully realized divine self. And anything that you come across that you have access to engaging with your higher self, then those are kind of the breadcrumbs to always follow.
That's fantastic.
And I do commissioned pieces to a person's fully realized divine self. So it's a very powerful meditation tool. And I also offer courses in which you come and you paint your own painting to your higher self. And so you have, your own tool in which to do that. It's all an inside journey.
How do you know when it's done?
Oh, I hear.
Oh, you do?
I do. I know when it's almost done, and I know yeah. I mean, it's really fascinating experience of, like, there are several layers. I don't start a layer until I kind of notice. I might like see a color or see something, and then when I go back in front of the painting, I know what to do. It's this take this paint and do A, B, and C with it. Or,
Oh.
a lot of the times it's like, I'm going to do what? Like, I'm going to totally ruin this painting kind of thing. And even like some of these, there's a door, there could be canvases as well. So I could be painting 3 at the same time. And that's all around this instruction that I hear, and I absolutely hear, and now it is complete.
Wow, that is so cool. Okay, so when we saw the scan of this beautiful Crossing the Veil painting, it looked like there were metal pieces on it. Is there metal? What are those circles?
Yeah, those are little mirrors.
They are?
Yeah, they're little mirrors. Yeah, and I don't think you can see it, but yeah, it's out of the picture frame. But it was one of the keynotes, and
Vinnie Tolman.
yeah, and I had invited, anybody and everybody that wanted to contribute, which Vinny did. And I said, Vinny, you got to bring your son. And so he brought over his 3-year-old son, William, and the piece was done. And I put a protectant over it because then this ended up, things went on top of it. So I just had gotten it protected, and I'm like, okay, conference is over. I'm ready to go. And he brings William over. And again, you can't see, I don't know if I can move my, let me see if I can find it. Okay, so he painted, it looks like a sun. It's blue.
Yeah.
That's what his 3-year-old son did. And he was, I'm telling you, he knew what he was doing. Like, I knew he knew what he was doing. And, they're done. They walk away. And this gentleman came over he had a didgeridoo. And he said, can I play my didgeridoo on this painting? And he started playing it. And he started kind of following the flow of the painting. And then when he got to William's little contribution, the didgeridoo made a sound. He's like, I've never heard it make that sound before. It actually sounded like Morse code. And it was only right over what William painted. And I got it on video, but there's so much noise in the room. It's the best I could do. But magical things like that just happen like all the time during these paintings.
Isn't that cool? Oh, wow. So, well, you can feel the energy. I mean, your testimonials show that in person, but you can feel it. I wasn't able to feel it in person, but you can feel it even from the digital images. And I would say that's true of everything in your MetaArt store. And I have included the link there. So when people have you had people buy these as gifts for other people? Because we are coming up, we're in the third quarter. So, right. So fourth quarter. So this is almost Christmas time. So are you finding that the gift is understood for people? I mean, that I would think this would be a fabulous gift to anyone.
Yeah, it's a great gift, a lot of people will buy like peace or love as it's a beautiful gift, even if you kind of aren't, the type of person that would sit and meditate with it. It's going to bring peace and love into your space. And so, there's certain ones that are more commonly bought as gifts, but it comes with an explanation what MetaArt is. It comes with, the transmission. And if there's music, it comes with the music. So it really is a very unique gift. So yeah, for the Christmas season, I do commissioned pieces that are, individualized either to, a person or in a corporate setting to resonate, within a company and really express the essence of the company. I also, really discovered with the IANS experience, I'm completely open to coming to conferences and channeling a painting, capturing the essence of the conference. So there's there's a lot of ways to interact with it. I think the most, a really good gift that I find a lot of people buy as gifts is the Oracle cards that come in the frame, because they get 9 of them. They get all of them that are available. for the public. And so you can just put whichever, oh, I want to meditate with peace today. And you can just put that in the front of the frame and have that to meditate with. So that's a really great way, because it's smaller, it can easily be displayed or hang on a wall, and you end up with all 9 pieces.
That's fabulous. So before we went on, you did talk about, and I don't know if you want to, but you talked about some awards that your art is starting to get. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, just that I've recently, I should say too, these paintings in the capacity that I'm doing them now started in 2020. So, we're only talking a couple years. And so, yeah, I've won 2 artist awards, and also starting to, reach out into the gallery space and doing showings. And so, yeah, starting to kind of dive into that world, which is far different than marketing, but so it's exciting.
Yeah. Well, I know that if anyone has an experience with these, even on the website, that you're being called to experience a different level of yourself and to open a portal to remembering who you really are, because a lot of this is we are all that, but we forgot, or we don't have a pathway to it. So by using these incredible tools that can only bring you blessings, there's just so many blessings available with it. I just want to encourage people to go to your website and get hooked on it.
Thank you for that, Kathy. And I do want to mention too that, the majority of them are general in nature, love, peace, right? This piece in particular really, really needs to be with those individuals that have had an NDE or support them. I know there's a lot of therapists that work really specifically with people that have had near-death experiences. And so especially calling out to them, whether it's the original or a reproduction, that it get in the hands of the people that it is truly here to serve. This is, so specific. The same with the one for children on the spectrum. I'm not a facilitator with the paintings, I'm the painter. So my desire is for them to get in as many hands that can really serve with them.
So are you saying people that had spiritually transformative experiences aren't as well served with this as people that had NDEs? Because I'm sensing it, and I didn't have a near-death experience that I know of, but I've had many spiritually transformative experiences.
It's for both of those individuals. Okay. Absolutely, both of them. Yeah. And it's why the first testimonial was she was able to communicate with her brother, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's so many ways that this work can help support people as we're going through these changing times. It'll create a way for you to get to your core that isn't scared of everything, that isn't being triggered every second by the news or by the next thing and weather. And I mean, it's just unending things. And it's really felt like we've been under a pressure cooker for going on 4 years with people not looking for the best in the gratitude of what we have. They've been in judgment and complaining mode. And so this is a conscious choice to uplift yourself and to get clear.
Right. Because it's things that exist and that we know exists. We know love exists. We know joy, right? It's coming from the divinity of it. And that's why a lot of times the transmissions, it's not what you would think of what it means to heal or what you believe love is. It's far more profound than that. And and so it does support us in the highest ways that we really require right now. Grace, what we need more than anything right now in these times is grace. And so, you know, it's really serving the deepest levels of ourselves.
It's beautiful. So everyone, Leanne is mobile. She's traveling to different places. She's going to Pittsburgh, I think, or Philadelphia, and doing a workshop, right?
Well, I live in the Pittsburgh area, so I'm doing a local workshop, but I do, I love to collaborate with retreats. I was just out, in Arizona and collaborated with one. So yeah, I would love to speak to anybody that would like to bring creativity and imagination and this art to a retreat space. Yeah, or a conference. I'm open to all of it.
Right. Bring the magic in. That's what we're here for. Well,
That's right.
thank you so much, Leanne. I think, is there anything that you'd like to leave the audience with as far as any other wisdom or pearls of your vision of the future?
I think we've said it all, but I do think I am going to send you a link to a YouTube video so people can experience one of the paintings in its entirety. I'll send you a couple of those.
Oh, great. Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Well, I just am so excited that, hold on one sec. I wanted to get this all in. There we go. I'm so excited that we got to talk before the event and after, because this was a big, let's put it this way, it's not a risk, but you have to trust totally and go into the unknown that this beautiful thing would be revealed, this tool, this gift, this beautiful art, and empower people to really remember how precious and how powerful they really are. We're going through this time of remembering, and for you to have taken the opportunity to do this, I'm so proud of you and so proud of Marianne and the others that put it all together, Larry and Trina helping you. So I'm so glad this worked out so beautifully, and it's remarkable what you do, Leanne. Thank you.
Thank you. And actually, yeah, you're right. It's all surrender and trust. And my paintings usually take weeks or months, and this completed in 5 days. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. Well, bless you and thank you. And please, everyone, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Leanne?
Yeah, my website, which is my name, leanneheltzel.com, and you could probably put that on the page, right?
Right. Yeah, it's already on. It's already been
Yeah,
on.
that's the best way. It talks a lot about everything that I do, and there's access to the shop there. So that's the
Yeah.
best.
Well, I want to encourage everyone to check this out and share this with others if you feel that this could help them. We're going through these changing times, and if this tool feels like it's the perfect tool for you, please give yourself the gift of it. So thank you, Leanne. Thank you. Bless you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah, thank you. Please share, everyone.